Thank you very much.
Garrett Hassel, our Walt Disney World reporter, so thrilled that he could be joining us once again. And, sir, there's a lot going on every week, it seems, in Walt Disney World. What's shaking? What should we know?
Nothing at all. No.
So much.
First and foremost, Katrina, welcome back. While you were gone, Tyler and Wade and Kurt ganged up on me all the time.
We would
Well,
never.
that's mean.
Never.
No, because Katrina, you and I, we have the darkest complexion, and so they got mad at me for being the tan one of the group.
Oh, well,
I
that's
could see
true.
that
Yeah.
happening.
And
Oh, no,
also,
his
I'm
feet's cutting out.
And I'm extremely envious that you guys can take a group photo together. Like, my group photo is I have to take your photo and then like put it like right here, and I'm still not with you guys.
Well, we could have, but someone was busy when we came out there the last time.
But regardless of that, there is always a lot going on here. Behind me is what's called the Odyssey Building. It is a building that for many years didn't really have much going on there, but now it is actually sort of a vital organ to Epcot, where a lot of the things that are coming to Epcot in the near future go on inside of there. They have what's called the Epcot Experience, which is where they have projection mapping and a 360, it's 360 degrees of camera shots and pretty much showing what's coming to Epcot in the future. So they have a thing for the Moana Journey of Water. They have something for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, for Mary Poppins, the new Spaceship Earth. It's a really cool little show in there. And some of our, whether it's on our YouTube or Instagram, I always put we have little clips in there of Epcot Experience. So if you ever get a chance going in there. But the main thing going on is they've recently added a lot of seating in there. Before, it just used to be walk in, check it out, and then walk out. But they've added additional seating and some light snacking in there. There's not a ton of snacks. There's nothing really significant. They have Mickey pretzels and cheese, and they have like hot dogs. They have some beer and wine options and some juice. And they have a couple photo ops in there as well, such as they have one where you can, looks like you're on Cosmic Rewind. They have one where it looks like you're on the Ratatouille attraction, which is in French, Ratatouille, le petit monde tout qui est Rémi.
Oh, thank you for that.
There you go, right, Wade. And no, you're welcome. I know you always love it when I add a little French in there.
It's
they
culturing.
Mary Poppins. Yeah, they have a Mary Poppins photo op, and then they have a large map of what is coming to Epcot in the future, and it looks beautiful. It even includes Space 220 in there, where it actually looks like a skyhook is going into the sky. So that's what's going on in that building right there. It doesn't look like much, but it actually is a very cool building to go into, sort of retro, but that's a new twist.
Yeah, I definitely think that's one of those complexes that over time, I mean, you kind of feel the history of Epcot there in that building, because it was, basically the birth of Epcot and that type of structure. It was there for that. And now it really does house a lot of different sort of festival type epicenters and stuff like that. And now most recently, obviously, the Epcot Experience. Great place to hang out at, especially now with all the added food and drink. Very nice.
I really like going in there. I'll just walk in there just to check out what is coming to Epcot in the future. Even though I pretty much know what all is coming, I just like to sit there and watch, just because the projection mapping that they've done in there is phenomenal. And then the 360 circle vision screens that they have in there are phenomenal. It's also, if it's very hot outside, go in there, because they have the AC cranked up so high to keep those cameras and projectors nice and cool. So be sure to check out there. That's a favorite spot of mine. But
keeping it cool.
That's one thing going on out here at Disney World. Yeah, keeping it cool. Speaking of cool things, over in Disney's Hollywood Studios, they have a new little sneak peek feature of the new Disney Pixar film called Onward. If anyone has not seen the trailer for it, it's pretty much the story of these two brothers that are on a magical quest to essentially try and bring their dad back to life just for one day with him. But the twist is that they're trolls in a world where, or they're elves, trolls are elves, in a world where there's magic, but there's not magic, so to speak. So in the past, there used to be magicians and wizards and all sorts of mystical things, but the world has now become more sort of like LA. So Tyler with Katrina, perhaps you'll be able to directly relate to that. Be like, man, there used to be so much magic in this town, and now there's not.
Now, not so much. It sounds like that'll also be coming out to the Disneyland Resort as well. So it'll be nice to have a sneak peek out west for Onward. Anything other than High School Musical, the series preview in Tomorrowland. So at least this might be a little bit more fitting in the land. I don't know. It seems a little futuristic.
So. Yeah, I hope so. And I'm really looking forward to the movie. I'm also terrified of the movie because if for those that don't know, I lost my father some years back, and man, I think my heartstrings will be tugged thoroughly. So we'll see. But I think it's going to be a really good movie.
I think so too. Seems like it'll be a lot of fun and funny on top of things. So that'll be cool. Anything else we should know, Garrett?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So everyone's favorite attraction, Rise of the Resistance, which will be spoken a little bit later. Out at Walt Disney World out here, they've actually changed some of the window time. So when you get ring past the boarding group 67, and says a projection of what time, they've now started to change it where instead of having a 2-hour return window, some people have 2-hour windows, some people have 1-hour windows, and I believe this is to essentially get the lines moving more to try and get more people in, because the attraction is not living up to what it's supposed to be, which is getting through X number of guests per hour. It's a little short. So this is all in an effort to try and speed up the loading process. So I have yet to experience this. I've only been able to go on the attraction once. So I will have to do it again and see if it's like you have 1 hour to return or else. Because, the Resistance, they can't wait for everyone. They got to get you fighting against the First Order stat. So that's a big thing. But again, you could get a 2-hour window. You could get the 1 hour, but it looks like they're aiming for that 1-hour window. But that's the main thing going on with that attraction. It's been, from what I've seen on social media, it seems that it's breaking down a little bit more than when I went on it day one. It seems to be breaking down a lot more. I don't know if they're trying to force a higher load capacity onto it, or perhaps they have too many things going, but hopefully they get the kinks out, because this is the most sought after attraction both here and in Disneyland, as you know, Wade.
Oh, definitely so. Yes. And we'll be talking about that a little bit later on, where Tyler and I ventured on out to Disneyland to try and experience this recently. And oh, what an experience it was. Lots to talk
stories.
about. Yeah, lots to talk about there. But Garrett, it sounds like, especially when you think about this whole 2 hours down to 1 hour potentially idea, I mean, this sounds to me, guys, like this is really going to force people to stay in the park.
Yeah.
And so this whole idea of like, okay, you have a 2-hour window, so you could potentially have left and gone and done other things, which I think is what you all did, right?
We went back to the hotel, had breakfast, relaxed, got called, and we're like, we have 2 hours. We'll make it. Now if it's an hour, we'll be like, ugh.
I mean, I think we still could have done it, but we were staying at like Gran Destino and we had our own car.
Yeah.
So it was easy.
And we also decided to do preferred parking that morning just to like be up front and everything. So those were all on our side.
That's true.
I think we could still do it, but if you have to take a bus or something like that, I would not leave the park. Yeah, definitely not.
I can't imagine that, and I'm speaking out of turn here, I'm sure, but I can't imagine that cast members are going to enforce this rule if you're 10 minutes over an hour or something.
I was wondering that,
that they won't.
I mean, this is such a sought-after attraction, and there's so much attention around it. I can't imagine them being true sticklers when it comes to that hour mark, if that is indeed what becomes the new norm.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I
got to have some grace.
I hope so. I really do. And I know that sometimes they have hard, fast rules on certain things, and sometimes they'll kind of let you skate by on other things. So we'll just have to see how that kind of pans out.
Definitely so. Garrett, anything else?
Yeah. So if anyone has used the Fast Pass system out here, you know that say you it's completely up to the cast member, but say like Ariel and I were going on an attraction and she had a fast pass and I don't. If she went up and said, hey, my boyfriend's with me, we weren't able to get him a fast pass, could he possibly come with? They have the power to essentially say yes or no. Mm-hmm. And with it, they essentially like say I scan it and it turns blue, meaning you don't have a fast pass for this. They can override it and turn it green. I don't know if with this system, if they can override it or not, or if it's like, sorry, you're 1 minute late, you can't do it. So I'm curious to see how this. I personally don't want to try and push that limit. I will wait for someone else on social media to ask them about that, but I really hope they aren't going to be so like dead set where it's like you're 3 seconds over. I'm sorry, that's tough. But it could, I'd like to call that style the airplane style, where the door's locked. Once it's locked, you then mess with the higher power of the aviation government or whatever. So I'm wondering if Disney's gonna have that hard lock on there. I hope they'll be a little bit more forgiving, kind of like with the bus, where you can run a big, no, let me in.
The FAA is what you're thinking of. But I will say, there's got to be flexibility in this. There has to be. This is way too much of a mad dash in the morning for people to try and get these things and to try and secure these boarding passes. To even get one is kind of a lottery, and you're lucky if you do. So to imagine getting a boarding pass, waiting all day, finally getting called up, and then you show up an hour and 5 minutes, and you're told, sorry, you missed the cutoff.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Yeah. But like my question is, has Smuggler's Run been super busy? Because I remember like the last time we went, it's been ridiculously long line because everybody's waiting for their time to be called. So they just, let's just go to Smuggler's Run and do it. And then like the queue is like 2 hours long. And then what happens if you're like halfway through the queue and then you get called? Then you're like, true. I just waited here for an hour.
That's a great point.
I will not leave until I ride this horrible ride, and then and then be upset after I ride it, and then go do Rise of the Resistance,
and then have my expectations exceeded when I go somewhere else.
Wow, but like I would not leave, and then I'd be like, well, I'm just gonna chance it, and then go up, and then just I guess I don't know, be like very, very like I'll be like begging them, be like, please let me in. I was on your other ride. It was horrible.
It was still in the land.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.